Hello, and welcome to vlog number 2. Wonder if I'm going to fall into that trap where I say the exact same thing at the opening every time, and then you can start like, welcome to vlog number 3, and welcome to vlog number... Talking to you, Rampage. Okay, hey, we're going to go play some cards in just a second, but first a quick look around. Isn't this beautiful? Mountains, windmills, Palm Springs that way. We're going to go play at Agua Caliente, right over there. That's the San Jacinto Mountains here. Let's do it. Okay, I sit down, the button has just passed me, and I pick up ace 4 hearts for my very first hand. Now, you may notice that I did not buy in for the full $300. I bought in for $260. And I want to talk about this little quirk that I have. I occasionally like to buy in for just a little less than the full buy-in. And then what I like to do is win my first hand. Then I have a full buy-in for at a discount. And psychologically, I feel great right off the bat. Flop is ace deuce 5. Checks to me. I bet. I get both the guys to call. Turn is a 6. They check to me. I decided to let it go. I check it on the river. We all check it through. I turn over my hand. It's not a big pot, but I win about $40. And now I'm sitting on almost a full buy-in, and I have got the psychological edge because it only cost me $260, but I got $300 in front of me. I don't know. Now at this table, we weren't really doing regular bomb pots. In fact, half the guys didn't even know what they were. You know you got a good table when somebody says bomb pot and somebody says, what's that? So they kind of explained to him what it is, and the old man goes, sounds good to me.
Oh, what are you talking about?
About 10.
Somebody said
$10 bomb pot.
Well, what does that mean? I'm sorry.
It means everybody puts in $10, and then they do the flop,
up.
and then we bet after the flop. You can't bet until after the flop. $10. Do it.
So we're doing a bomb pot. I think it's only our second one, but I've only been there about an hour. So the flop comes 4, 5, 7. As you can see, I have the 6, 9. So decent, open-ended, and under the gun player opens for $20, and there's a call, and a call before it gets to me. I can't imagine raising at this point, but I can't imagine folding either. You know, I'm open-ended. The 3 gives me a straight, but the 8 gives me an even better one. So I do call, and miracle of miracles, the 3 comes up. So now there's 3, 4, 5. I've got the 6 and the 7 out there. And now it checks all the way around to me. And what am I supposed to do? I now have the nuts almost. I have a straight, but vulnerable to anybody sitting out there with 2 pair. So after much consideration for this table, it's a pretty big pot. We have almost 200 in it. The bomb pots were $10 each, 5 people at 20, so 170 in the pot. I've got 250 behind. I shove it all in, and we get 2 folds before it gets to the person 2 on my right who decides to call me, and the person on my right calls me. So I'm getting 3-way action, and the guy across me says he needs an 8. Well, guess what? It's an 8 on the river. But I have the 9, so I have this nut straight from the 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 all the way down. So just luck, 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 luck. Bomb pot already, 6, 9, somehow makes the nuts on the river with 2 callers. And that's the thing about luck is it's not just that I got lucky by making a straight and then having the straight get even better and having the nuts on the river, but you also had to have 2 other people who were in the pot with you, or you're not getting lucky. One guy had 2 pair who didn't get there. One guy had a smaller straight who it didn't work for him. So that's what luck really is in poker, obviously. It's you getting the right hand at the right time and people getting unlucky against you. Okay, in this hand we have 10 Jack of Spades. Everyone's favorite suited connector, the 10 Jack. And it's a really fun, interesting hand. So this is a wonderful table. It's just a limpy table, and people aren't 3-betting. It's just a wonderful table, and people are friendly and nice. It gets to me in the small blind. I have 10 jack of spades, and I go to $11.
Please go to 11.
The big blind makes it 30, and it folds around to me, and I call. The flop comes 3 spades, so I flop the flush. 9, 6, deuce of spades. I have the 10 jack of spades. Already, you have bucked the odds. I check it over and flow, and he bets 35. So I think, do I raise? Do I call? I go back and forth, and I decide to raise, thinking that if he has an ace king with a spade, he will call me, and I'd like to just pile the money in now if that's the case. So I make it 100, and he folds. Okay, so I just have to mention that I was chatting with my good friend Brad Owen the other day, and he said to me, if you don't show them the ceiling, they will riot. So here's the ceiling. You had queen deuce of spades? I had jack 10 of spades.
Thank you.
Wow, I got so lucky there. I had jack 10 of spades. Jack 10. Yeah. I got lucky in a weird way.
You guys up for a bomb pot again?
I flopped the flush, but the guy across the table who folded pre-flop would have flopped a queen high flush if he had called. So that's not just luck, that's luck multiplied. The thing about poker is, though, it's kind of like in T2, no fate but what we make. If I hadn't raised pre-flop from the small blind, that wouldn't have given the big blind the opportunity to 3-bet, which doesn't happen in this game, and then it flushed everybody out. So had I just played along with their limpy, and then let the big blind make a $10 bet, the queen 2 spade would have called, I would have called, he would have flopped a higher flush than me, and I would have gotten cleaned out. So yes, very, very lucky, starting the session, very lucky. But with 10% like, I get credit for not being an idiot. Okay, this next hand, I don't have any footage of it, but I really need to talk about it because it falls into that category of, this is what I did, what would you have done? And I'm not sure I played this hand so great. And it also reflects on, even when you're not playing great, you can get lucky. So I have queen jack on the button, and an early position player makes it 10. Of course, there's 5 of us, and I don't raise. I just call. The flop is 9, queen, jack, with 2 clubs. So I flopped top 2 pair, and an early position player bets for this game a decent size, 25. I think there's like 30 in the pot, because it was like 7 pre-flop times 5. So there's 30, 35 in the pot, and he opens for 25, and there's a caller and a caller and a caller, and he gets to me. And I'm sure this is the moment where you're all screaming, "Raise, dummy!" and looking back, I probably should have raised, but I called. So guess what? The turn is a 2 of diamonds. Hey, I got lucky. I faded that card, right? So now the initial bettor decides he's going to just check it, and it gets checked to me. I'm on the button, top 2 pair. That we've seen the turn now, and it's a 2 of diamonds. And so now I decide to make my big bet. I bet $100, and it gets folded. But 2 players on my right who each have less than $100 call me. One guy has about 50, one person has about 75. And of course, the river is an 8. Putting in 8, 9, blank, queen, jack, deuce on the board. I turn over my queen, jack, top 2 pair. Pause. Finally, the player on my right turns over her 10, and then the other player turns over their 10, and I say, so I got slow rolled twice. But here's the luck part. Yeah, I lost, and questionably played hand, but they were both short-stacked players. So even though I managed to lose this hand, I lost the minimum, less than $100. Even with this hand losing, I got lucky. So the next 3 hands I'm going to talk about really, we're going to drive home the subject of luck today. So I get pocket kings, and I don't have footage of it, so I'll just quickly say that I got kings, and the flop is queen high, and the guy across me just led into me. Basically value bet himself the entire time. I win a nice $250 pot by checking and calling all the way down, and finally I bet on the river, and he calls me down with his queen jack. I got lucky because not only did I have kings, but he had flopped top pair and he decided to pay me off. The very next hand, the guy on my right has pocket aces. He bets pre-flop and gets 0 callers, shows us his aces and throws them in. Now this here is the very next hand after that, and I get aces. And I get it all in with my gentleman on the right who just had aces and got no action. He goes all in against me, and I double up one more time. That's really what luck is, you know, in the terms of poker. A confluence of events coming together to just rain money on you for a few hours. I got out of the Agua Caliente, left the desert, drove all the way up the coast to Santa Barbara for the night, spent a night there, then got rained out, came back to LA, and now the sun is shining and everything is right again. See these trucks here? We're renting out a house today to a local movie crew, very exciting. As I mentioned in my numerous previous vlogs, there was just that one. I'm a rec player, I'm not a pro, which means I don't have the time, I don't have the bankroll to do 4 or 5 sessions and hope for a good one. I have to just play 1 session and hope for a good one. And that's why it's even more exciting when you have a good session and you win money and you have fun like we did in Agua Caliente. Okay, if you're still watching at this point, I mean, why not subscribe and like? Why the Dutch angle?
I didn't mean for that to happen.
That's okay. Hey guys.